Hey everybody, welcome to my Christmas tag video. I haven't done one of these tag videos in a while, but I figured Christmas was a good time to do one. So, well, as you can tell by the change in scenery, I am down at my condo in Florida instead of up in New Jersey, and I have to say I love it here. It's really nice going out in the morning with like 65 or 70 degree weather, and the days leading up to Christmas are supposed to be in the low 80s. So that's pretty awesome, and I don't miss the cold or the snow at all. Behind me you can see my Christmas tree. It's a bit small, it's only a 4-foot one. And I don't have it decorated yet because it's not actually going to go here. I just wanted to have it there for the video. So after I move it into its actual place, then I'll decorate it. Okay, so anyway, without further ado, let's get on to the Christmas tag information. Okay, I'm back. So the first question is, when do you start getting excited about Christmas? And these days, now that I'm in my early 30s, I probably get excited about Christmas right after Thanksgiving. That's when it starts. When I was a kid, I distinctly remember making calendars to count down the days to Christmas, and I would start doing that sometime in September. So I used to get excited very early about Christmas. Okay, so do you still have Advent calendars? I haven't had one of those in so long. I can't even really remember when the last time I had one of those was. Probably when I was 7 or 8, something like that. Okay, next up we have, what are your favorite Christmas films? This is a good one, and I thought of maybe 3 or 4 off the top of my head, and then just so I made sure I wouldn't miss any, I consulted a few best Christmas films of all time list, and I actually did miss a few that I do really love. So it's a good thing I checked those lists out. Okay, so the first one I have on the list is Elf with Will Ferrell. I really love that movie, and Zooey Deschanel. It's such a cute movie, and I actually saw the Broadway version of the story, which was really good as well. Second on the list I have Muppet Christmas Carol. That used to be one of my favorites when I was a kid, and although I haven't seen it in a while, I have fond memories of watching it back then. Okay, so next is A Christmas Story. The one with the kid who gets, I can't even remember his name at the moment, but he gets into all kinds of trouble with like his Red Ryder BB gun and his, what was it? Little Orphan Annie decoder ring or something like that. That's always fun to watch. Okay, so also Home Alone. Now, this one I have specific memories of because the first time I saw Home Alone was, sorry, it was actually after Christmas when the movie came out. A friend of mine, his birthday is January 3rd, so he took a bunch of his classmates to see Home Alone. Actually, I think we went to Pizza Hut first, and then we went to Home Alone to see Home Alone. So, and then the next year, or 2 years after that, whenever it was, when Home Alone 2 came out, we did the same thing. So I really have fond memories of that movie. Plus, I really like Joe Pesci, so that's good. Alright, now I have How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And specifically the animated version with Boris Karloff as the voice of the Grinch. And I guess he was the narrator too, I think. I love that movie. Not so much the new one with Jim Carrey, although I do like Jim Carrey. Okay, so next I have A Christmas Carol. Now, this is very specifically the 1938 version with Reginald Owen and Gene Lockhart. I remember when I was a kid watching that numerous times with my dad, my sister, and my mom. So I love that one. Okay, now I have a Christmas movie that I wouldn't say it's a favorite of mine, but it really sticks out in my memory, and that is Santa Claus from 1985 with Dudley Moore and John Lithgow. Now the reason I'm mentioning it, even though it's not a favorite, is that that movie scared the crap out of me when I was a little kid. I love John Lithgow. He's an amazing actor, but he was so incredibly scary to me when I was like 5 or 6 years old. So that's why I'm mentioning it here on the list. Okay, what's next? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the 1964 one, that's claymation. I don't really see how anyone could not like that movie. Then I've got, Meet Me in St. Louis, which isn't really a Christmas movie, but there's a scene or two dedicated to Christmas, so I really love that one. Plus, Judy Garland is awesome. Alright, now I have White Christmas, 1954, with Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, and Rosemary Clooney. That one's a classic, and I love Danny Kaye, and of course Bing Crosby is always good, although I do prefer him when he's with Bob Hope. Miracle on 34th Street, the 1947 version with Natalie Wood. I haven't seen the whole new one, the whole thing, but the parts I saw I didn't like as much as the 1947 one. Okay, so another one that isn't really a favorite, but it sticks out in my mind, is Nightmare Before Christmas, Tim Burton's movie, and I'm mentioning that mainly because later on when I do Christmas songs, I will talk about a song in that a little more. Let's see. Okay, I guess that's it for Christmas movies. Okay, so the next question is, do you have any funny Christmas memories? And the only one I can really think of, just off the top of my head, is one year when I was a kid, my mom and dad gave me a bunch of sports cards, Drew Bledsoe cards and whatnot, because he was my favorite player. But one particular Drew Bledsoe card, my mom hid before Christmas, because she bought the card maybe in July or August, and she hid it so that I wouldn't find it before Christmas. But she hid it so well that she actually forgot where she hid it. So she wrote out an IOU, and I opened the present, and it was an IOU, and it said, "You'll get this card when I find it." I ended up getting it like May or June of the next year, so that was... At the time, it wasn't that funny, but it's kind of funny now. Okay. Talk us through your typical Christmas day. Alright, when I was a kid, I would get up at like 7 or 8 in the morning, and I would, and my sister would also. Hold on one second, I'll be right back. Okay, back again. Sorry about that. I had a phone call. I had my phone on vibrate though, so that's why you probably didn't hear it. Okay, so talk you through your Christmas day. Right. When I was a kid, my sister and I would get up at like 7 or 8 in the morning, and we weren't allowed to open any presents until my mom got up. Now, my mom wouldn't get up until 10 or 10:30 usually, mainly because she was up until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning wrapping gifts at the last minute. My dad would be up at like 5 or 6 on Christmas morning because, well, he gets up at that time every day, and he would start cooking lunch or dinner or whatever. So, yeah, that was... Okay, so after my mom got up, we would open presents, and typically the present opening timetable would be what we tried to do was one person, like my mom would open a present, then I would open a present, then my dad would open a present, then my sister, or me, then my sister, then my dad, then my mom, and we'd alternate. However, I usually had the most gifts, so it would end up with me opening present after present after present at the end. Okay, so now it's kind of the same thing, except we don't get up my sister and I don't get up at 7 or 8 in the morning, and well, sometimes she goes to visit her husband's family. Sometimes she's here with me and my family, or my family. It's her family also, but yeah. So it varies from year to year now. We also have kind of a day after Christmas thing, where we would either go to my brother's house. My half brother, actually, he's about 20 years older than I am. So we'd go there and visit with my not cousins, my nieces and nephews, even though some are older than me. And, or we would go to my aunt's house and visit with cousins, aunts and uncles and stuff like that. Okay, just gonna get a sip of water. And I'm ready. What do you eat for Christmas dinner? Typically, at home, it's turkey. And when we would go the day after Christmas, when we would go to my aunt's house, she often makes ham. And if we went to my brother's house, he makes Italian food. So we've got a definite variation of... a multitude of different foods. Okay, do you have any Christmas traditions? Yes. The main one is that every year my dad makes Christmas cookies that, Italian Christmas cookies that his mother used to make, and he learned how to do it from her. There are 3 main types of cookies. There are knots, which are basically cookies shaped like a knot. A tiny, like, about, no, smaller than a fist, maybe about, like, that size. And you roll the dough, turn it into a knot, and then when they cook, they blow up a little bit, or expand. And to get the icing for them, you mix confectionery sugar with milk until it's a decent consistency, and then put it on the cookies. And then there's also the almond cookies, which are my favorite, and although they're called almond cookies, my dad actually makes them with walnuts. But you can make them with almonds if you want. Then there's sesame seed cookies, which I don't particularly like, but everybody else in the family seems to like them a lot, so I guess I'm the strange one. And then, so my dad made those from as far back as I can remember, maybe when I was 3 or 4 or 5. But more recently, he started making ones called wedding cakes or wedding cookies, also for Christmas. And they're alright. They're really, really sweet. Okay, and I already mentioned going to my aunt's or my brother's house the day after Christmas, so that's kind of another Christmas tradition. And you can come in, Dad. Okay, so which are your favorite Christmas songs? First, I would definitely have to say, you can sit down. Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. As I mentioned before, Judy Garland is awesome, and that song in particular I really love. Now, there are different lyrics for that song. One of the versions goes to let's see if I can remember right now. Oh, hang a shining star upon the highest bough. I don't like that version. And excuse me for the horrible singing right there. Wow, my voice is really not good today. I don't like that version. I prefer the version where she says, until then, we'll have to muddle through somehow. And the reason I like that version a lot better is because it's just so much more depressing. And I know Christmas isn't supposed to be depressing, but I feel like that line gives the song a lot more character than hanging a shining star upon the highest bough. Okay, so anyway, next song is a song I actually didn't know about until fairly, until maybe a year or two ago. And it's by Bowling for Soup. It's called I Miss You Most on Christmas. And it's a really, really good song. I did a cover of it last year. You can find that cover on my music channel if you so desire. And if you don't want to listen to my cover version, you should at least listen to the Bowling for Soup version because it's really good. Okay, so next is Tom Petty, Christmas All Over Again. And I also did a cover of that one, not last year, or maybe I think it was 2 years ago that I did that. And a friend of mine introduced me to that song. It's really good also. Now I have Billy Joel's She's Right on Time. Now, while that isn't specifically a song about Christmas, he does mention Christmas and like caroling and lights and ornaments and stuff like that. He mentioned those things several times in the song, so that is why I'm putting it on the list. Plus, I love Billy Joel. Okay, next is Stevie Wonder, What Christmas Means to Me. What a great song, and I love how Stevie Wonder's songs always sound so upbeat, at least, well, the ones I've listened to. Okay, so Nightmare Before Christmas. What's This? The song What's This, written by Danny Elfman from the Nightmare Before Christmas. It's a really, really great song. And although the movie creeps me out just a tad, the song is really good, and Danny Elfman is actually a very, very good composer. Okay, so next is Bing Crosby, Melikaliki Maka. I also found out about that song like a year or two ago, but I really love it now. And I guess last on the list is a Christmas song that I wrote. It's called Christmas This Year, and I do feel that it's one of my better songs, so I encourage you to check it out on my music channel. Alright, so the next question is, what is the best Christmas present you have ever received? It's really, really difficult to say, actually. I have 3 written down, but I'm gonna miss some that I'm sure like on Christmas Day 20 years ago I was ecstatic, but unfortunately I'm probably gonna forget. The ones I do remember were a 1-foot-tall Ninja Turtle, Raphael, of course, the one that had the red headband, because, well, let's face it, he was the coolest. I also got a 1-foot-tall G.I. Joe one year, and it was Snake Eyes, and I remember being really, really thrilled with that. The third one is actually not one specific thing, but I've gotten numerous sports cards over the years, some very valuable ones, and I don't want to say anyone specifically, but my mom and dad and other people have given me some really great ones, so I have to mention at least the sports cards, because those really are probably, even now I love getting sports cards. It's like a present within a present, because you open the wrapping, you unwrap the gift, and it's a box of cards or a pack of cards, or even if it's a single card. But if it's a pack of cards, you get to open another present by opening the pack of cards. Okay, so let's see. I think this is the last question now. Yes, real or fake Christmas tree? And there's 2 answers for this. When I was a kid, it was always real, and my dad actually used to cut it down every year. He used to find a tree somewhere on our property, right? Okay. on our property, or at there was a farm nearby where you could cut your own tree down. So he would cut down a tree every year and bring it home. So, and although I really enjoyed having real trees, it was kind of a pain in the butt in like May, June, or July when we had a very thick rug where the Christmas tree would be. So, in the room that the Christmas tree was in, and every year, like sometime in the summer, you'd your foot would, or my hands, because sometimes I would crawl around on the rug, would hit a pine needle, and you'd be like, what the hell, how is it possible there's a pine needle here after this long? But it always used to happen. Okay, so since I guess after I went to college, probably I've had fake trees since then, and I don't know, I don't mind the fake ones. I like the real ones, I like the fake ones. I do like to spray like Christmassy sprays around to try to get a tree scent or a cinnamony scent or something like that. But I guess I don't really have a preference. And as you saw before, my Christmas tree is actually very small this year. So well, I guess that's it. Turned out to be a longer video than I expected, but there you go, my Christmas tag video. Thanks for joining me, and have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.